Hey guys, I'm Phaedra from All Things Phaedra, and while some people out there are looking for the smallest, most fuel-efficient SUV, some of you still think bigger is better. And this video is for you. This vehicle may be for you. This is the 2023 Lexus LX600 F-Sport. And man, is it fast. It's got a lot of really great qualities, driving being one of them. And then it's got a lot of quirks that I feel very iffy on. So I'm going to talk to you about the inside, the outside, the drive, and let you make up your own mind. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about this vehicle, tell you about what we've been through together this week. So normally I request a vehicle to review, and we spend a week together and I drive it around town, go here and there. This one just kind of accidentally came to me, and I was getting ready to go on a long road trip up to upstate New York. So as a result, I got to spend a lot of time behind the wheel. I spent at least 10 hours on the highway driving in this thing, and I really got a feel for its comfort, its fuel efficiency, and how well it performed on the highway. I'll get to all of that. The other thing that I did is I took a Costco shopping. That's sort of like my litmus test for vehicles, is what can I fit in there from Costco? Now, obviously, with a full-size SUV like this, you can fit a lot into it. But when I was at Costco, I saw this lovely couple trying to fit not only a washing machine, but a dryer in their minivan. So I went up to them and said, guys, I don't think this is going to work.
So how often do you have a big vehicle and you stop by Costco and somebody can't fit their washer or their dryer in their vehicle? Well, in this case, they bought a washer and a dryer, and only one could fit in their little minivan. So here we are with the Lexus LX600 to the rescue.
I lent Phaedra's moving services with the Lexus LX600. We were able to help deliver a brand new dryer to a couple that would have otherwise had to make several trips. Now we're going to focus on the vehicle itself. It is big and it is luxurious, and it has a big price tag that comes with it. So let's not beat around the bush. This is a $107,330 vehicle. So it's outfitted pretty nicely, as are most press cars that I get to review. If you're looking to get something a little bit cheaper, well, they do start at only $92,000, and they max out with the ultra luxury model at $132,000. So what do you get for the low price of $107,330? Well, I will tell you, this is a 3-row, 7-passenger full-size SUV. It is considered a full-size, made in Japan, and it's got a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 engine. And if you are wondering, can a V6 really do what it needs to do on this vehicle? Yes, my friend. It gets 409 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. With a 10-speed automatic transmission, this thing can move. It's also fully capable of going off-road. It's got a lot of off-road capabilities, none of which I will put to the test in this video, but it is a full-time 4-wheel drive vehicle. That's enough of me. Let's focus on this. We're going to do a quick walk around, and I'll tell you a couple things that you want to look for on the exterior of this vehicle. Now, does this body look familiar to you at all? Well, it might if you were a fan of the full-size Toyota Land Cruiser, which, by the way, has not been seen in this country since 2021. This is an all-new redesigned platform, but it is based on that Toyota Land Cruiser. I actually love the rear design. I think it's a really attractive vehicle. But what you are going to see from a styling perspective on the exterior that's part of the F-Sport package are these 22-inch rims. These are forged aluminum alloy wheels. I love these wheels. And then if we go right back around front, there's the F-Sport badging. And the biggest difference that you'll see is this aggressive black grille. On the other trims, you'll see more of a silver grille. So this really has a sportier look to it. What you can't see, that's also part of the F-Sport package, is a tuned suspension and a rear stabilizer bar. But most of the F-Sport accents you're going to see on the interior. So why don't we go ahead and head in right there. Now don't be shocked. It's red. Red may or may not be your color, but this is an option for you. So this is the, you can see it's embossed, the F-Sport Circuit Red Semi-Aniline Leather. Now, if you're wondering what that means, that just means that it's got a very durable coating right here on the leather. And this car is probably near the end of its time in the press fleet. So I can't even imagine all of the journalists that have sat in this seat, but as you can tell, it looks brand new here. You also are going to see the aluminum accents. So if you had a different trim level, you probably see some wood accents here, but because this is a sportier model, you're going to see aluminum down on the pedals, on the door sill, and so on. So there is a lot to talk about, the seats, the interior. So let's get in and go ahead and do it. Now, first thing we want to do is go ahead and start this up. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because the normal places that you would expect the ignition to be, it's not here. So it's actually up here on the screen. No lie, it took me several minutes to figure that out. And right away, you're going to notice two screens right here. We've got a 12.9-inch infotainment screen. So this is actually a touch screen. And this is where you would see your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, both of which this has. And it is wireless, works very well. In fact, I will say that this vehicle has the best wireless CarPlay I've ever used, and it has the best wireless charging I've ever used. I can't tell you how many times I've put my phone in a vehicle, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This one, top-notch charging, top-notch connectivity. So all the kudos for that. You'll also see this 7-inch vehicle display screen. And this is really meant to show three different things. The first one is climate control. The second is vehicle information like drive modes. And if you're taking it off-road, it's got some details there. And then the third is details about the display itself, or you can just turn the screen off. So let me dive into some of these details right here. First of all, we got a lot going on here. We have this screen, and we have our digital instrument panel. That's a lot. And this I don't mind, this I don't mind. This screen, I really kind of had a hard time figuring out how valuable it was. It could be if I were doing more of the drive modes or going off-road, this might have more information that I would need. These are all of your off-road controls. I didn't put any of those to the test. I don't mind going off-road, but, you know, this is what most of the area looks like where I live. So with the climate control, you'll see a lot of the climate control buttons are here, and then you can control it here on the screen. So I don't necessarily mind redundancy. I just felt like it was very confusing, if I'm being honest. So you can sync here, you can control the front and the rear, but sometimes I got confused if this screen was up and I couldn't remember how to get to the rear. So it wasn't incredibly intuitive. And then they, you know, have Climate Concierge, which is, I think, just a fancy name for auto climate. I still haven't figured out what this button is for. So it looks like it's a defrost button, but it's not. So somebody's going to know. I know somebody's going to know. Now, if we look in a little bit more detail at this console here, we've got a storage area down under here. That's all it is, just for storage. We've got, if you can see, two USB ports, one for charging, one for connectivity, USB-A, USB-C. We have, this is part of the F-Sport package. We have the ventilated and heated seats and the heated steering wheel. Now, what is cool about this is you see it's got this auto mode, which I can appreciate, where it has sensors to tell you, you know, it's pretty warm in the car, we're going to cool you off, or it's pretty chilly in the car, so we're going to warm you up. And you can also set up some custom drive settings so that it knows I always like my steering wheel warm, regardless of what time of year it is. So we've got some custom features. And then, since I've already showed you this area, this is my water bottle. I have this here because I am going to use it as a prop. Just you wait. But we've got two good-sized cup holders here. A little far over for the driver, but it's still acceptable. This great charging pad, like I said, I already love. And then we have this active height control. So we can actually, let's see if you can tell, raise the vehicle. And then we can raise it again. And it's moving the front and then the rear at the same time. And then you can lower it back down as well. Oh, that was a little less subtle. Okay, we're gonna go down one more. There we go. Okay. So we've got that, and then we have the ability, I think, I cannot confirm, but you see this button right here? I think that is a feature that allows you to automatically lower the height of the vehicle when you're getting in and out. This is your console, and normally you wouldn't expect anything special, but it is special. First of all, there's a button on the side to open it, but there's also a button over here to open it. And there's another button, but I'm going to save that one as a surprise. So you might have heard a noise when I opened it. That is this option right here, a cool box. So it's basically like a refrigerator. I discovered it by accident, and we definitely used it when we went on our long road trip. I want you to see how far down this goes. That goes pretty far down, and we were able to use it for drinks and for leftovers on our trip. So this was really great. I love the cool box. I've had it in one other vehicle before, and it was pretty amazing. So we'll go ahead and close that up. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at this digital cluster right here, the digital instrument panel. First of all, the steering wheel has everything that you might expect, all the different options, including paddle shifters. I'm not a fan of paddle shifters. If you are, they're here. They work fine. I did test them out. I just don't really see them as relevant, unless maybe you're going off-road and you want to go in a manual gear here. But you can do that with the transmission shifter. Got a few options over here for a camera. There we go. Look at that, the surround camera. So if you're going to park and you want to see everything that's around you, it does a quick 360 view. Now, if we go back here, we do have options here, and that is all controlled by this button right here on the steering wheel. So I can scroll through and I can see things like vehicle settings, information about gas mileage. So the EPA fuel economy is 1722 with an average of 19 miles per gallon. On my trip, I averaged about 17 miles per gallon. Now, I was going up and down some mountainous roads, and maybe I was a little heavy-footed on the gas. But we've got other options here, compass, music, and safety features. One complaint that I have, and I can't show you because my phone is not accessible right now. I'm using my phone right now, but one complaint I have, the CarPlay, like I said, is great. And this menu system is good too. So this allows you to scroll through and change various things on the vehicle. But when you have this in CarPlay mode, there is no obvious way to get to this menu. So that was definitely an issue. That could totally be user error. The last thing I want to show you before we head into the back, because there's a lot to see back there, is this right here, the power moonroof. Now, I love a good moonroof, but I have to say that I'm kind of disappointed that it's not a panoramic moonroof, which is what I would expect in a newer luxury vehicle. It's just this small little moonroof, which is adequate for the most part, but I kind of wanted to see a little bit more there. Now, I see you looking back there. I see it. You want to know everything about the back seat, so I'm going to take you there. As we get into the back seat, you're going to see the same stylings that we saw up front. You're going to see that red semi-aniline leather, and you're going to see seating for 3. And I think that would fit 3 adults comfortably. You do have a hump there on the floor. It's a pretty small one though, so you would definitely want to put the smaller adult in the middle, or a child even. First issue I have back here though is these floor mats, and I know that this is an option here, but they're pretty small for what we're getting, and they seem to come up pretty easily. So every time my son got back here, he seemed to push the floor mat all the way under the seat. So I'm wishing that we had different, oh, you can see that one has been destroyed a little over there. That's compliments of my 16-year-old son. Now back here, we do have a lot of creature comforts. So we've got climate control, we've got ventilated and heated seats for the back. Sorry, not for the middle passenger. And you've got your vents. And I told you I was going to show you a little secret back here. Do you see that button? This allows your backseat passengers access into the console, which of course you would want if you've got drinks or snacks in there. So I think that's kind of a neat touch. Now back here, it's a little weird. So you do get sunshades with the F-Sport handling package, and you do have a console right here with cup holders in it. Pull those out. And let me show you a little bit about the legroom. So here I am behind the driver's seat, and the driver's seat is pretty far forward because I have it, and I'm pretty short, and I'm very comfortable back here. But this seat is a little further back. And if I move over to this spot, bear with me, I still have room for my knees, but I don't really feel like I have a lot of room to stretch out. I have to keep my legs kind of upright to get enough space back here. And I'm just thinking that I expected in a full-size luxury SUV to have a little bit more legroom here, especially because these seats do not go back at all. So in a lot of SUVs, you're finding the second row can slide forward and backward, and that does not happen here. And I will show you why in just a minute. So I'm going to talk about the seats folding down, but the first thing I want to show you is there is, if I can show you, there's a handle back here. Can you see that? And if you pull that, that makes this entire section, that's the handle right there. It makes this entire center section go flat. So if for some reason you were looking for this, maybe to put some cargo flat through here, you could do that. It gives it more of a captain's chair feel. But I'm going to put that back up. We'll go into the third row next. Now, in order to do that, there is a plastic handle here on the side that you can push, and the entire seat lifts up, which is great because it gives you easy access to get in. And this is really the only time that I think I really needed those side rails. So we're going to squeeze back in. And obviously there's room for two back here. These are the headrests that fold flat unless you're using them. And then they go up. And we're going to squeeze over here. Let's take a look at that legroom. So distance-wise, the legroom is good. But this is a problem that I commonly have with third row seats, and that is there is not much of a height difference between the floor of the vehicle to the top of the seat. And that is the case here as well, which means my knees are sticking up. And I think that's just kind of how it is in a lot of the third row seats. It's more the exception than the rule to have a comfortable third row. But the third row passengers are not forgotten. We do have some cool features like these USB ports. So here's a USB port here. And then we've got some cup holders, a storage compartment. We've got some vents back here, which is great. Then we've got this button right here. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to recline. Nope, not that way. This way. Okay, that's as far back as it goes. But if you want to sit up a little further, you can use it like a recliner. I would not want to sit up like this. But we can push it back and we can adjust our seat accordingly. Now, I did not show you me getting out of that space, and it's a good thing because it was not pretty. So let's talk about these seats for a minute. So they do fold all the way up, but I found out the hard way that they will move while you're driving, and that can be especially dangerous if you have passengers in the back. In fact, they warn you that this could fall down and clip somebody's feet. So if you want to keep the seats in this upright position, they actually have a latch here that you're going to pull out and you're going to hook to that handle right there. And that will keep it from falling down. You can adjust that as needed. Or you can simply fold it flat, which we're going to do so I can show you the cargo space. We open this up, and I want you to see the amount cargo space that you have back here. Can you see that? Let me try and give you some perspective. You see that? That is not much space. You could maybe fit a few grocery bags back here, but yeah, if you are planning to use this as a 3-row vehicle all the time, you're gonna have to keep that in mind for your cargo space. If you're not, then I think you're gonna be a little excited. We're gonna use this button over here and push both of these seats down. Automatically flips the headrest down, and you'll see now that you have all of this cargo space back here. It would go all the way to that second row, and the second row can either have that lift right there, or you can lift the entire seat up to have additional cargo space. Also in the back, you'll find an electrical outlet, and over here, you'll find access to a fuse box. Back on the other side, you'll find access to something mechanical that I'm not going to claim to know. Now, you want to see what you have underneath the cargo area? Not a whole lot. Just enough to flip up when the third row is up. That's obviously all the storage space you have. Patch a flat kit, tire jack, because yes, if we look underneath, there is a spare tire under here. Looks like a full-size spare too, which is good. Next thing to do is to take it on the road and show you where this thing really performs. Now, the drive in a vehicle is something that you have to experience yourself. I will never understand people that can buy a car without ever driving it. And it's easy to drive. It's actually got an incredible turning radius, but it's a little bouncy when it comes to suspension. Where it does shine is performance, and I'm taking us to a road where I can show you exactly what it can do. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in sport mode because I want to show you what this can do. I'm going to go ahead and put it in normal mode, but I want to show you the torque, which gives you the ability to accelerate even while you're already moving. The other thing you might have figured out by that driving and my driving style is that this does require a lot of gas. Now that's to be expected, twin turbo, big vehicle, but it's one of the things I didn't love about it, and I'm going to quickly show you the other things that I didn't love, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So when it's all said and done, there is a lot to like about this car, mainly the performance, but there are some things that I didn't like, and I'm going to run through them super quick for you. So the first thing for me is the seat comfort. Yeah, I drove this for 10 hours and it was not comfortable. The seats feel very wide and the lumbar support is very okay, which to me says this vehicle is made for somebody larger than me. And that's okay, but if you're a 5'3" woman, I just want you to know that. I also think, given that this is a full-size vehicle, it felt a little cramped up here. I guess I had plenty of width, but with all of this going on, it just felt a little cramped. The water bottle pocket in the side door doesn't fit any water bottle I own. I'm not sure what can fit in there. The limited leg room in the second row when the seats are all the way back. The really limited cargo space behind the third row seat. The kick sensor that I never could quite get to work, ever. And that lightweight hood that really seemed to vibrate at high speeds. So there you go. That's a detailed look at the Lexus LX600, specifically the F-Sport. So you want to know my final thoughts? It's a capable luxury SUV that doesn't mind getting dirty. But do you really want to spend $107,000 to go rock crawling? The other thing that is my biggest drawback is that this is a complicated vehicle, which I don't necessarily mind, but it feels like it's overly complicated, more for the sake of just adding extra features that aren't necessarily intuitive like a lot of new tech. So, for your money, I can't say this is the best buy out there, but if you're already a Lexus fan, and if you were a Toyota Land Cruiser fan and you're looking to get that same feel back, this might be exactly what you're looking for. Just know what you're getting into. Thanks for joining me for this detailed look at the Lexus LX600. Let me know what I got right, let me know what I got wrong, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can come back and do it all again on my next car review. Thanks, guys.